This is called the coach approach.
The coach approach. That's cool.
Yes. And today we are finding you through mindfulness.
Okay. That's a good title.
It's noisy, right? Everything, and I don't mean the planes and the birds and the ducks.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about. I was like,
I mean just life.
Oh my God.
Life is noisy,
It's crazy,
right?
crazy
And
right
then
now.
we've got these things in front of us. And part of that, look,
We need to start the podcast. This is what we should be talking about.
there could be one basically just on like social media addiction.
Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's a part
FOMO
of
is
the-
a real
the
thing.
noise.
Fear of missing out. That's what FOMO
Yeah,
is. And
just the overstimulation that our brains and body are getting is
I just finished this really great study. It hasn't even come to print yet, but because I'm part of my university is able to get things before they come out. And the study is really, it shows that, in case you were wondering, yes, social media is addictive.
There's a question.
There's a study on it, and it says that.
There's so much.
But you know, most people are like, "Oh, well, how do you know?"
Oh,
It's like, well, I can tell you.
just feel it in your body, in
Because
your
I am.
brain. Come on.
And just like with coffee, and you know, with drinking and with smoking,
How do
and
you know?
all types of things, you can get addicted
Look around.
to it.
Of course, any human behavior you can have an addiction to.
Yes, yes. But we're not here, right? We're not here to tell people how to live their lives.
No.
The internet is not going anywhere,
That's
right? It's going to be, in fact, it's probably going to get
It's going to
way
get more
worse.
complex with
More
AI.
complex. That's a good way to say it. I wouldn't say worse because
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
used to say worse too, but I try to reword my stuff.
I'm using it for good, so using more of it for me, you're right, I wouldn't say it's worse. I would just say it's just going to get more complicated. That's excellent. I love that.
It's going to get more complicated, more complex with the different people that are using it and what their intentions are.
Right, and yes, and as we get more complicated, we're going to have to learn to live with it, I would say that,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
just
it's
like
already,
in a relationship.
you already see a big change in just what people can and cannot believe. This never used to be it before, right? You
Right.
like listen to the news and you're like, oh wow. Now it's like it's all fake. It's all fake.
Everything's
you can't
fake.
believe
What do you
anything.
believe in? What's real? Nobody knows what's real.
You know
I
what I
can
mean?
even quote the research and they're like, nah,
I know.
it's not real.
I know. I know.
Poor scientists, you know.
I know. It's because of the propaganda, repetitive, fake news,
It's
fake
whatever
news,
they
fake
want you to
news,
believe.
Fake news.
They feed
That's
it to you enough, and it's like
it's brainwashing.
everyone.
Brainwashing. There's a new movie that I have not seen yet, but I want to. Is How My Dad Got Brainwashed
Oh,
on Amazon.
that sounds
It's
like a
about
pretty
Fox
good
News.
idea.
It's about Fox News.
Nice.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah. Once you
That happened to my
remove-
brother too.
Would you you can remove yourself if you're able to do that. I think it takes some real good practice and
Yep.
mindfulness to
Yep.
remove yourself, to look at yourself from the outside, to say, wow, I can't believe I think like this, or I can't believe I believe in this, or I can't believe this is one of my values. And this is why I'm doing this. I want us all to really look internally, right? And look inside of ourselves and find out who we are again.
Right.
Because we imprint on different things and different people
Right.
and organizations, and
Right.
pretty soon,
Take on
We're-
everybody else's beliefs.
pretty soon, we are not writing the sheet music and we're playing the sheet
That's
music.
right. That's right.
It's
Playing
tough.
it over and over again.
So I hope that we can help people come back, look in the mirror, look inside of who we are, find out again, get back to who we are. What are our beliefs, our values? What are our visions? How do we get to the place that we need to get? How do we learn to detox from this complicated world that we are now in? Because like I said, it's not going anywhere. So let's learn to live with it. So I
Learn
have
to live with it better,
I have a secret weapon. Do you want to know what it is?
of course.
It's Michelle. I got that from your website.
Oh, okay.
You know, a secret weapon.
Yeah.
I said, I love that part. I'm like, I'm going to use that for her specifically. Our secret weapon today is Michelle. She's a wonderful coach, right? She's been helping people for many years. If you could, just please, like, elaborate on what it is that you specialize in.
Well, are we like doing it right now?
We've been doing it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was
That's
like waiting
for the
for you to
blooper reel.
be okay. Oh my God, how embarrassing. Okay.
No, it's good. We're
Okay,
good.
ask me the question again.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, I just no.
I was like holding myself back the way we were like recording.
I know. You see what I did? And now you
Tricky.
you were doing really good, and now you know. And now you're like, oh fuck.
No, I'm good.
Okay, go.
Okay, this is the part you got to edit out.
I'm so leaving it in.
Okay.
No, I won't. I won't do that.
Okay,
I won't.
thanks.
Yes. Back to my secret weapon.
Okay.
Michele is a wonderful coach. She's been helping people for many, many years. And I brought her here to the Coach Approach so she can help give us some tools, some methods, some strategies, and how we can detox from this complicated life that we're getting into. So, Michele, welcome. Thanks for coming here. I so appreciate you coming. This is such a beautiful day.
It's an honor to be
Beautiful
here, and I
person.
love your setup. This is the first time I've had this, an interview like in this beautiful nature setting. It's awesome.
Right? It's really nice. It helps ground us.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big fan.
You know all about the ground.
Yes, sir.
So what do you specialize in for those of us that don't know Michele?
Well, I specialize in helping people deal with the living environment that we have right now. Learning how to go inward, learning how to meditate, learning how to become more mindful and controlling your thoughts, more observant. We can't control the thoughts that come into our minds, but we can learn to control them and turn them around and refocus. Okay? And I'm not talking about toxic positivity, okay? You need to feel your emotions.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe next time we'll get to
Toxic
that.
positivity is just like, be positive all the time, be positive all the time.
Oh,
Okay?
yes. Okay, that's not
Don't
yes.
feel like that, that's not
That doesn't
that's
sound
not
authentic.
healthy. Okay? No, it's not healthy. So, there's a difference between changing your thoughts in your mind and turning them around and refocusing. Okay? That's how you got to do it. You just got to be focused. Thinking this way, you got to be focused. Just like if you were dealing with a child or a dog, you refocus them. Okay? That's how you get to the different direction. And then there's a difference between feeling your emotions and expressing them. Okay? That's really important because that energy needs to get out of your body. Okay? And it needs to flow, because if it doesn't, we have all kinds of deep-seated energy blockages in our body from things we haven't expressed, traumas we haven't, healed from, and it causes an immense amount of physical, mental, and emotional pain and disease. So it's really important to understand the difference. And once you start to go inward and you have some of these practices, you get real comfortable in discerning the difference. Okay, you go, okay, this is in my mind. This is how I started it. Here's my mind. Like, oh, this is in my heart. Like, I feel a sensation here. Okay. That's how I understood the difference between just my mind or my body, because I was, I had a lifetime of challenge with anxiety. And it wasn't until I started meditating and understanding more that I could feel a sense of anxiety without even thinking about anything. Okay, and that was a real eye-opener for me. And that's when I was like, whoa, I understood, wow, you can really get addicted to these types of feelings of overwhelm and this this addictive type of thinking, and putting yourself into these experiences, so your body will generate cortisol in your body, and you get addicted to that sensation. Okay, so we subconsciously start thinking of things and going after experiences or relations and stuff sometimes to provide the body with that addiction. It's intense. The first time I noticed, I learned this, I heard for the first time someone tell me this was Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm a big fan of, in 2018. So I remember I was living in Spain. I had experienced a sensation of anxiety in my stomach, and I thought to myself, but I'm not thinking of anything stressful. Like, why am I feeling this? And then I saw my brain go to try to find a story to attach onto that sensation, so I could produce cortisol and get ramped up. And I only understood that because I was educated by him, and he had said that, and I saw it happen real time. And the only reason I was aware of it happening is because of my meditation practice and my mindfulness practices of going inward and training my brain to have that awareness.
Being very aware of yourself.
Before, I mean, this happened all my life. I just wasn't aware of it, okay? Because it happens real quick, okay? And so I saw it, and I was like, oh! And I immediately, like, turned my focus to something I was grateful for, being in the present, any kind of anchor that would bring me present. And it totally calmed down and left me. And look at a little friend of mine. And so that's the kind of stuff I teach people, because it's, in the world we live in now, there's so much distraction, overstimulation that's so difficult for our brain and our body. We need these practices instead of just running to medication, which is a whole other subject of the long-term benefits and
the quick fix.
Like, not only is it's a quick fix and it's a bandage, it's like putting a Band-Aid on something that needs surgery. Okay, you need to go inward and figure out why that is happening.
Yes.
Because it's your body trying to talk to you, and we in our culture we're so busy like telling our body to shut up. We're too busy, like we think we believe everything that comes up in our mind, which a lot of times is just BS, right? We're just manufacturing a lot of this fear or whatever, and then we're telling our body, which is the true wisdom, okay, trying to talk to us. When we feel anxiety, there's a reason, you know. And in my book, I have a chapter say it's called Anxiety Our Bestie. It's there. It's an alarm. They're like, hey, something's going on, but we're so conditioned to push it all down, okay. And then we get, and it's like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way, which we've just exasperated the problem. Okay, our body's feeling something, it wants to talk to us, and we're like, no, I don't want to feel this way, it's uncomfortable, and then we make the suffering even worse. Okay, so it's very complex. And running to medication, I'm not judging anybody. You want relief, I understand, but so many people are labeled very quickly and given a drug. I mean, most doctors, if you say, I'm feeling anxious, you know, I really need some, I need some help, and are they going to sit there and ask you what's going on with your work? What's going on with your relationship? You know, how you feeling? Are you exercising? Are you getting out in nature? No, they don't ask you anything. They're just like, write the script.
Where does it hurt?
That's right.
I have a pill for that area.
Okay, and if you, in other cultures, they actually, well, progressive doctors and therapists will do this, but in other cultures, they do that. They send you out to nature. In Japan, they have a thing called forest bathing that they actually prescribe for you. Go out into the forest, spend a day, a couple times a week, whatever.
Gosh, it's a real healer.
Of course, we're meant to.
Right?
Yes.
To do that.
Grounding with your shoes off. Any time in nature, whenever you can take your shoes off and get bare feet on the sand, the dirt, the grass. It's scientific. This isn't a theory, okay? You actually absorb negatively charged electrodes into your body and discharge energy, and it actually regulates your nervous system and helps with anxiety and inflammation. Okay, there are all kinds of different things you can do, and this is my passion, to help people with this, to help people develop a mental fitness belief system like we already have around physical fitness, right? We're conditioned with immediate gratification, you know, for years now. It's only gotten worse with all these different aspects of technology, right? Everything we do, Amazon, you know, Netflix, your texting, internet, smartphones, we can get information like this quick. So now we're even conditioned more and more to expect everything immediate, right?
Right.
And when we don't have a mental fitness belief system of understanding the science behind these applications, these trainings, okay, then we don't do it. Why we're going to dedicate time? It's not easy. But we know around physical fitness that if I do this and this and this and this, even though it's not easy, I'll push myself. I know I'm going to get these results because I have that basic belief system from education, right? I'll stick with it. I don't expect immediate gratification from physical fitness because I understand the process and I understand the science around it. That's what I'm one of the pioneers to try to help people develop with their brain. It's the same thing. All these kind of practices are training your brain and your body to learn how to cope with what's going on. And the long-term effects of a lot of these medications are horrendous, and we're just learning now, okay? I mean, they're dulling your neuron connections. A lot of the antidepressants, the anti-anxiety, dulling your neuron connections in your brain. Imagine what this is going to do to your brain.
Right. And
what do you think? What do you think it's going to do to your brain?
It's going to rot it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's dementia, Alzheimer's.
We were like the test bed for all that crap.
Yes.
And now it's this.
Yes.
This for the other generations.
Yes.
And that's why we need to learn how to detox.
Right.
So you were talking about, I love how you were talking about, we don't listen. we're listening to this a lot. We want to know what your friends are doing. I want to know what
Yes.
this famous person is doing. So we're listening to this. We're not listening enough to this, our bodies and our
That's right.
minds. And I'm guessing that that's probably a good way on how we can learn how to detox, at least from this busy thing that we have put in front of our lives. So what would you like suggest would be like not a way to just get away from it, because we're not going to get away from it, but how would you like suggest if a client of yours were to come up to you and say, hey, you know, my life is busy, I'm on my phone all the time, it's my work, it's probably part of their work or and their personal life, but how would they, what are some methods or some techniques that they could use on, let's say, a daily basis that they could just somehow get back to listening to this? Because at least life is about balance, right? And if we could find a healthy balance between, I got to get my work done, I got to be online, I got to make posts and do all this stuff, I got to listen to other people, and then I got to listen to me. So what would be like a good practice on, at least I would think daily, right? Something daily.
There's a lot of good practices, and it takes again, educating yourself why this works will help you stick with it. Okay, if you don't understand science around what's happening to your brain with all this, it's just you're not motivated and dedicated enough. Okay, so I can't express that enough. And there's things I share, there's things I share. I share a lot of experts that I've learned from that you can listen to, whatever your messenger is. You want to educate yourself around this, right? There's a lot of things you can do. And because things are so addictive as far as how the smartphones were made, how all the applications were made, there's a movie that's about, I think it's about 4 or 5 years old now, called Social Dilemma. It talks about, have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay. It's on Netflix, highly recommend it. It talks about how this was purposely meant to get you back, keep on going back, okay? Now, in that documentary, the creators are like, oh my God, we had no idea that we were going to cause so much problem for people. They didn't understand the psychological problem that this would actually cause, especially not only adults, but with young people, So there's a lot of different things that will help you. And an important thing to do always, and I always talk about this, is always, approach this with compassion first.
Yes. Never judgment. Never cutting
the judgment and the criticism that we are conditioned to do because of people doing it to us. I mean, everybody does
that
it.
just leads into more negative.
That's right. You're your own worst critic. You're your own worst enemy. Da 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 da. And we just think that that's nothing. We just tout those phrases like they're nothing. But it's brutal. I mean, we're like emotionally abusing ourselves on a regular basis the way we treat ourselves when you really look at it. If you talk to yourself internally or treat it to yourself to another person that way, you would never put up with it. Okay,
No.
or if you did, you'd be abused. Okay, so there's a lot of different things you can do.
So that's a good start. Come at it
meditation.
first from a place of love and
That's right.
caring for yourself.
Okay, because you are absolutely not going to ever do this perfect, ever. Even if you were living in a monastery, okay, you're still not going to do it perfect. All right, and that's the biggest chance you're going to get to have it be a higher percentage of doing it right all the time, okay? Living in the environment we're living with the fast pace, living with connected to all these devices and the internet, the overstimulation we get constantly, we're in this sense of always thinking of the next thing, okay? We're always on to the next item, or when we're talking to somebody, a lot of times people aren't, and I can be guilty of this too, I've really watched this, because it's a culture thing, where you're waiting to respond. You're not even listening. Because if, you think you're listening, but you can't be listening to the person if you're listening in your brain at the same time and you got two people talking to you, basically. You know what I mean? You're not going to truly listen if you're waiting to respond. You know what I mean? And that waiting to respond a lot of times comes out, maybe they come out of ego or insecurity of trying to sound important or, smart or whatever. Okay?
People aren't being listened to, maybe?
Yeah.
They feel like that could be
Yes,
an outlet for them.
absolutely. And also, they're afraid to be authentic for judgment and criticism and rejection from stuff, in our culture from what they've experienced all their lives as a kid, okay? So it's very, complex. So it's really important to understand that you are not going to be able to do this perfect. and just understand. You go, okay, I wanted to do that today and I didn't do it. It's okay. I'll work on that next time. Just like that, okay? Super, super important. So there's different things. Getting out in the nature, little bits of nature. Whenever you can. Longer bouts, fantastic. A little bit out in your backyard even, okay? You got a backyard or you got some place to go, a park like this, just go there whenever you can. Take your shoes off, put your feet on the ground a little bit. Relax, just breathe, concentrate on your breath. Breath is amazingly grounding. Okay?
Don't concentrate on your phone. Right?
That's right. And I know it's a real...
Do you ever see that in your...
It's a real addiction.
In your studio? People...
Well, no, I actually, one thing I do, when I do a retreat, it's zone free zone.
Oh,
okay.
Phone.
How do you say?
Wait, phone?
The phone free zone. Yeah, a phone free zone. And when I do retreat, don't look at your phone, because that takes you out of the space you're in, the healing space you're in. You go right back into the matrix, which is red. Okay. It is. There's a guy named Bruce Lipton that talks about this. He's like, this Matrix was not fiction. This is real stuff. So when you think about it, it's true. So because when you go inward and you have these practices more, you feel a decrease in any kind of overwhelm and anxiety. Okay.
Anything people should be thinking or breathing or is it something? Are you a religious person?
No, but I'm very connected.
But it's similar because when people pray, like let's say with the rosary for
you have practices.
They're for each rosary bead, you're praying on a specific thing.
Whatever works for you.
I think that helps with the focus. Would you be focusing on a certain thing when you're doing this?
Yes. I don't do the rosary beads, but that's perfect. You know what I'm saying? That's perfect. Anything that will anchor you into that present moment. That's what you need. You need to experiment, okay? Whether it be grounding, whether it be rosary beads, maybe something else you can hold on, focus on, whatever.
But not focus on, let's say, like, what am I going to do tomorrow?
No, that's not being present, okay? So that's not being present. Present would be like, okay, perfect mindfulness exercise. This is a really great thing to do, like go to the park and sit like here and just by yourself. Close. You can look around, but when you go inward, you get more centered. For most of there's different types. You can look around and just focus and watch those birds, and that's a great meditation. The common denominator for meditation, we all do it. Okay, there's all different forms. We all do it every day. Is focusing on something intently. Okay, so if you're just watching the birds and thinking about nothing else, you're doing meditation. Okay, and when you think, and not if, when your mind wanders, you go, oh, I'm looking at that bird. It's okay. I hear you, but we're over here. We're looking at that bird. You just take it back. You take it back to the nice and gentle.
To the bird.
Nice and gentle.
And not like, I wonder what that bird's going to do later. He's probably going to get on his phone.
No, isn't that amazing? Animals are an amazing teacher for us to be present, okay? I have to remind myself regularly with my dog, you are my teacher, buddy. You're right in front of me. The universe gave you to me so I can, practice on my present. Seriously, that's how I feel.
Dogs are great.
Yeah, any animal, they just know how they don't have all this crazy stuff in their mind, like we do. So they're not saying that way. They're just great being present. So another cool thing to do, really cool mindfulness exercise. This is all training your brain, okay? Is this being in this park or anywhere and sitting with your eyes closed and listening to everything. So that takes you inward and helps you concentrate more without the constant, interior right words. So it's like, oh, like I'm closing my eyes now. Maybe you can't see. And there's a bird over there. Oh, there's another guy over there. I hear the cars. And maybe there's another bird. Talking back to him. Oh, over here. And maybe I'll hear a dog bark. Like that. That is a really great mindfulness exercise to do. And in the nature, it's obviously more things that you can hear. Okay?
Yeah,
it's
like
fantastic.
A park like this. This is great for something like this.
Yes, and as you do it, you breathe in real slow and deep. The deeper and slower you breathe, the more grounded and more present you're going to feel. That activates what they call the vagus nerve, which is a big, big nerve that starts in your brain and goes all through your organs. And when you activate the vagus nerve, it's like turning on a light switch, and it brings you into the rest and restore calming system called the parasympathetic system. Okay. The other system we're in most of the time is the flight or fight, the sympathetic system. And when you're in that system regularly, and most of us are, okay, but you don't have to be in panic mode to be in a flight or fight system, okay? Just having a feeling of urgency or like a tension in your body because you're thinking about the next thing and the next thing. When you start to be more aware, you'll feel tension in your body when you're not present, okay? And most of us aren't that present, okay? And what happens when you're in the system a lot, you're actually suppressing your immune system. You're suppressing your immune. You are unintentionally you're chronically suppressing your immune system. Okay.
Oh, what a thought.
Yeah, and this is science, all right. I mean, this is serious stuff, you know. And then you get sick, and you get disease or whatever, you know. So just that kind of a thing where you can listen and breathe nice and deep, keep your shoulders up, relax, or lay down or whatever, and just really get into the nature and listen to everything. Okay. And not just listen, like really intentionally listen to the separate things. That's what's going to be the training, okay? Another really cool training for mindfulness is I invite you to take a walk somewhere. It can be anywhere, okay? And your intention on this walk is to be present and to just look at what's in front of you and observe things around you. Because a lot of the times we just got our blinders on, right? Our mind is busy, 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 and we're just like this. Boom, 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 boom.
And you got somewhere, you don't even know how you got there.
That's right. You haven't even noticed almost anything around you at all. It's like you're in a tunnel, you know, and I've done this many times. You know, that's what your brain does to you, you know what I mean?
But purposefully do it with some
right. So this
deliberate.
so this is intentional. You're not in a tunnel. You are, well, maybe you're in a tunnel just because you're being frozen like this, you know, but you're not in a tunnel where you got blinders on like a horse, you know what I mean? You're aware. Okay, so you walk down the street and you say, okay, my intention and my goal is to be totally present. Let's see how long I can do it. Let's see if I can do it for 5 minutes. You're not going to do it. I thought I could. I thought that was a realistic goal at first. I did this the first time I was in Spain. I'm like, 5 minutes. Oh my God, within a minute, my brain left me.
A minute.
And
it takes practice, I guess.
Yes, it's training. It's just like working out. It's working out your brain. So your mind goes. And you have no defense. It just goes, okay? And then and you're walking. You're in your little tunnel again, okay? And you're walking. All of a sudden, you snap out and you go, "Wait a second! I'm not paying attention. I'm not being mindful. Let's try again. Don't
focus."
And this is the thing. Now, focus. Don't be punitive. Don't talk to yourself that way. Don't get aggravated. I shouldn't say don't. If you get aggravated, chill out, okay? Don't be so serious, all right? Just make it a game, okay? When you make it a game and you make it playful and you approach it with compassion and love like a child, then you'll have a good time, okay? It's not about when you get frustrated and critical on yourself, you're expecting perfection. That's the thing. It's never going to happen, okay? So if you just let go of that, accept the experience, and lean into the part where you're not going to do well, you'll enjoy it more. And so you go, oh my God, I start laughing at myself. I'm like, I can't believe it. I didn't even last a minute. I was like,
but that's good. I think
the awareness.
You use a positive reinforcement, like smiling or laughing.
Right.
It's a physical change to help you reinforce it's a positive thing.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, time to refocus.
Exactly. Let's try again.
Instead of like, oh, you're a freaking idiot.
That's right.
Why did you do that? Now you're going to hate yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got to change that inner dialogue. That is supremely important. And the most important thing in your life is to get control of your interior dialogue. Absolutely. Okay. So and then when you talk to yourself that way, I've started a practice years ago where I apologize to myself. Sorry, just like I would a person. If I talk to somebody like that to somebody else, you know what I'm saying? I go, oh, so sorry. I'm sorry I talked to you that way. And I don't talk to myself that way anymore, but I will silently pressure myself. Okay? That's where I'm not nice to myself. I silently will pressure myself sometimes. And I've learned to apologize to myself for that too. You know? I don't mean to rush you.
We're supposed to be our best friends.
That's right. We're supposed to.
How would we treat ourselves so horribly?
Right. It's because of the conditioning and the messaging we've gotten all our lives. And so those things, and you think, that's not good. I'm telling you, this is going to change your life if you start doing this kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot more.
You could start off even just small.
Simple stuff like that. You don't have to be like, okay, I got to sit here and meditate for 20 minutes and then be frustrated when my mind wanders constantly. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to start that way, okay? Now, I get into, deep meditation and, it's a practice. You get there. And I mean, sometimes my mind wanders. I got to bring it back. It happens.
It's just
Okay? It
the
doesn't
natural
matter.
process.
It's
Our
your
minds
brain. Your
wander.
brain is going to want to think all the time. If you go, so the mindfulness little exercises like that are great little ways. This is another thing. It's hard, I know, but it's a change of behavior that will really, really help you. Okay? Is when you're waiting for somebody, like you were waiting for me to show up today. Okay? I'm sure you checked your phone, see if I was texting you or
No.
something like that. Okay? Because it's like this handy thing. It's my entertainment, my mobile
I
entertainment.
definitely didn't notice the birds.
Yeah,
There's
so-
100 birds.
Right. So I'm just saying, before we had phones, there wasn't a time where,
You're so right.
we had phone. We didn't have these things in our pocket.
I was even thinking to myself, okay, today's about mindfulness. Let's go ahead and get into that same zone. I'm like, oh, wait, real quick.
Right. Because it's an addiction. See?
It is.
I do too. Okay. So like I try real hard to do and be aware, and I'm not going to do it perfectly. I understand that. Is I'm waiting for somebody, wherever it is, at a restaurant or at a park or any. What do we do? First thing we do is we're checking on our phones. Okay. All right. Maybe you can't. You're not going to change that 100% right away, and maybe never. Okay, but try to catch yourself. Do I really need to look at my phone right now? Am I waiting for an email or a text, or do I really need, or can I put that down and just be in the present moment and look around, okay?
Yeah.
And actually notice what's happening around me. We are so like this and zombies with these phones.
If we just we focus on even renaming it to just self-prioritization.
Yeah,
right? I gotta put
self-care.
myself
It's self-care.
Right.
It
I gotta
really
put
is
myself-
self-care when you understand the damage that this is doing to us mentally, emotionally, physically. Okay, it's actual physical thing too because of the dopamine overload in our brain, and culturally. Okay, and how we're not talking to each other sometimes. And sometimes when I start to talk to somebody, they look at me like, "What are you talking to me for?" Hey, how's
You
it going?
wacko.
Nice day today,
We don't
huh?
talk to
Is
each
this
other
great?
anymore.
And I'll make a
Text.
comment or something like that. And I swear, people will look at me, not all, but at least 50% probably, like, what are you talking to me? Especially, I'm not trying to brand anybody or anything, but the younger generation, because they've grown up.
Right. They're the
Okay.
ones that they've
They've been entrenched.
been in their whole lives.
Yeah, and there's actually in my book I have a chapter, Our Relationship with Technology. It talks about a lot of stuff, how it's negative. Okay, we got a lot of positives. We know all the positives, but not enough people are talking about the negative impact on it. Okay, look at the whole picture. Okay, you need to look at the whole picture. And when I start to talk about it, a lot of times people will especially in my experience, a lot of men in their 20s, between 20 and 40, will be this big defender of the technology as soon as I start just addressing
It's
some
like
of the
my
negative
brother
aspects.
needs
But it's this and that. I know, it's great. I've had a design website services company for 20 years. I was a pioneer on this, okay? I started my company in 2004, and it's still existing. It's 2004, and, before Facebook, YouTube, any of this, okay? So I get it. There's a lot of great things. I've been making a living,
Yeah.
doing this for years. But it's really important to look at the negative aspects as well. Okay,
Yes,
so
I
you
think-
can understand how it's affecting you.
I believe that a lot of people feel that they need to do one or the other.
I know.
Like, we can coexist.
That's right.
Right? You can coexist naturally and then also use your phone for what you need to use it for. Like, it's not, well, I'm not going to do that because I believe in the phone.
No.
No. It's not black and white.
No, exactly.
balanced.
It's not black and white.
It's
And
all
it
just
can't be black and white. I mean, now you can't. Most people, if you're working, you can't function without a smartphone for most people.
Yeah.
Okay, because unfortunately, when email got invented, even before the smartphones, but it got worse after that. Email and laptops got invented. All of a sudden, everybody was expected to be on call like a doctor for their employers, right? 24/7, weekends, vacation, at night. Not make it 24/7, but at night.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, this
it's-
was expected, okay? And if you resisted, some of the companies would give you a hard time, or you were afraid to resist because everybody else is doing it. And
Everybody else.
you know what I'm saying? Or if you're an entrepreneur, because of the competition, you want to be on it right away. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of pressure. So when that happened, about 20 years ago. There was that all of a sudden the blur between work and personal life happened. Before that, there was a distinction. You left work, you're off work. Okay, unless you work for
Don't
yourself.
bother me.
Okay, unless you worked for yourself.
Yeah.
But it was never, no one, your boss wouldn't be calling you up on the phone.
No.
You know what I mean? It just didn't exist. And so that was an extra pressure. It's a big pressure where you don't have that separation, right? So just, trying to watch your behavior more. Again, when you have some form of meditation and mindfulness and you're training your brain this way, okay, you start to become more aware of your behavior with your devices and other things, and how you're talking to people and how you're listening to people and just everything. Before you do that training, you're not aware. You're not aware. I mean, I wasn't. And you can see as you practice this stuff and you become more aware, you'll notice how other people are not more aware. And it's important not to get your ego in there judging, making yourself superior for that.
It is kind of like that movie, The Matrix. You've ever seen The Matrix,
Yes.
right? When Neo finally gets disconnected,
All of a
right?
sudden,
he comes out of that eggshell thing or whatever.
Yes.
He looks around, he's like, oh shit. He's like self-aware.
Yes, this is
Like,
exactly
wow.
it. That's what I'm talking about, yeah. And so, but then a natural tendency is to get kind of the superiority, a little bit complex of, well, I'm more aware, they're not aware, kind of thing. That's just your ego getting in there. That's not going to help, okay? That's not making you more conscious. You're more aware, but if you're still judging everybody else, that they're not as aware as you, then you're not being a conscious person, okay? And you're judging other people, and we're all guilty of it, okay? It's a big deal.
I think
But
that's
just to
excellent.
observe yourself. Observe it. I just really gave that guy a judgment. I don't know who he is. And not criticizing, just like notice it, okay?
Right.
I remember when I first started becoming aware of this, and I before that, you start learning to train your mind, and you go inward more, and you realize you're a lot more negative than you think you are, okay? And you just be ready, because you're going to see that, okay? And there's no judgment or getting down on yourself about it. Just understand. That's just our condition. And I remember walking down the street one time, and I saw this guy on the bench, just the way he looked or something. Immediately, I had this judgment on him. And right away, I was like, you don't know the story, you know what I mean? And I was like,
yes.
damn.
Judgments can come in real quick.
And so, having that awareness is really, really important to understand that everybody's in their own process. Okay? And when you're not aware, you don't have the capability of making a decision sometimes. You know what I'm saying? If you're not aware of it. A perfect example, I talked to the younger generation about this more because of the internet and a lot collectively, I believe our world is becoming more more conscious. And we're having discussions like this that we never had before, ever. Okay? I mean, we just started talking about anxiety 10 years ago. Before that, it was like,
Hush, hush.
I remember all of a sudden when people started talking about it, I'm like, is that what I experienced? You know what I mean? I mean,
It's the same that happened with PTSD recently.
exactly.
Right now, everyone's got it.
We never
It's like,
even had these discussions before. All right.
They used
So
to
all
be
of a
frowned
sudden,
upon.
that's right. A lot of, it's just a lot of, not trauma, shame around it, taboo, And so a lot of the younger 20 teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, they have experienced a lot more information about this stuff through the internet and more, just more conscious education about understanding, more psychological understanding. Years ago, we got bad advice to raise kids from doctors. I mean, seriously, bad advice from doctors, Let that kid cry by itself, Just let him soothe him by himself. That's what they said.
Let him figure it out.
That's what they said. And now it's like, oh no, that's traumatizing. Okay.
Oh, great.
So,
Well, my kid's screwed.
you know what I'm saying? Seriously. So now this generation has this information. And what they have a tendency to do is they have some awareness, but they don't have higher consciousness yet to be, forgiving and understanding and higher empathy and compassion yet, because they haven't developed it themselves yet. That needs to happen first here, okay? And they immediately start judging their parents, usually, or people that were, helped raise them, grandparents, parents, whatever, for their behavior and what they did or didn't do, okay? And I'm not saying anything was right, or but I am saying that the behavior that most parents have, or grandparents, or people that raise children, comes from their own conditioning, their own unhealed trauma, their own unawareness. Okay, they don't know any better. Okay, and most of the time, their intention is good. Right? But people that have this information understand about trauma and neglect and all this kind of stuff. Like, well, how come they didn't do that? Why they're all mad about it? Like, we didn't talk about this stuff before, okay? And now, for the first time, the stuff is coming out. So it's important. It will help you feel better and more present and joyful and accepting. When you're accepting and have compassion for yourself, then it makes it easier for do it to other people. And try not to get on your high horse about judging other people when you're more aware that they are. Okay.
I think self-awareness is probably the most underrated word or phrase. Like we began this with detoxing, and how do we detox? I think that's the very first step. Being self-aware and understanding that we're not doing it and we need to do it. So I'm self-aware. I know that I need to do this. Let's do it. Find a place where we can start. At least step one is, let's try grounding. Let's try focusing on something other than the phone, other than my to-do list,
Right.
other than everything else besides internally healing, getting away from the fear of missing out and that social media addiction.
Yes.
And just spending some time just focusing on the present, on the now.
Yeah. And the way to do that is find an anchor that works for you. Okay, so when you start getting into the future, maybe
It doesn't have to be the
something.
beach.
No,
It doesn't have to be a
I
park.
mean that's wonderful if you can get there, but it
Does
could
it have to be the actual earth? Let's say if I live in a condo,
right?
which I do,
I understand.
and it's raining,
right,
and I don't want to get outside though.
right.
How
So
do I get through
you
that
can
barrier?
put some nature music on, and not music, nature sounds if you want. Okay, perfect example. I was actually in Spain during the quarantine. Okay, very, very, very restricted. The restrictions were huge. Spain and Italy were some of the two
Right.
most restricted countries in the world.
They were hit
Yeah.
hard.
And for 7 weeks, I was in a studio apartment with no balcony and no yard, and I could go out to the grocery store a block and a half away, and that was it for 7 weeks. And then after that, it was 14 months of restrictions before I actually left and decided to come back. Of not going to someone's house that you didn't live with, or not getting more than 3 people together, and there were staggering schedules to when people could go outside. I mean, it was insane. All right. And during that experience, I luckily had meditation in my pocket. I had breathwork in my pocket. I also had some chocolate bars with psilocybin that helped me have some nice journeys. That helped me, and I've used it for therapeutic growth. I'm a big fan of it. I talk about that in my book. Done in a safe container and with intention can really help a lot of people. It definitely did me go deep into healing. And I used that time to have a huge shift. That's when I really started my business and wrote my book and started to write my book and everything. And I listened to nature music, okay? Not music, nature sounds. I listened to nature sounds to trick my brain and my body that I was in nature. Luckily, I had big shutter windows that I could open up and lay there and get some sun on my bed. I would, do some essential oils. I would do all these kind of things to help my body and mind feel like it was more in nature. Because I
Okay,
actually couldn't
that
get
sounds like an excellent technique, because especially for a master level, right? Because you have already spent so much time in nature that you kind of knew how to duplicate that in your own spot. But
And then their mind too. I mean,
Right.
it's not just you. Okay, you take yourself to a place. Okay, you really take yourself to a place that imagined or one that you like and love. All right, and a real serene nature spot. Your body doesn't know the difference. If your brain tells it it's there, and you produce those sensations in your body that you're so grateful to be here, so happy, and imagine the feeling of the breeze or whatever, the standing. You can absolutely, they've shown this with brain
Yeah,
scans, okay?
I've
You can generate that feeling in your body. I've done this, okay? And your body really thinks it's there.
when we start learning that your brain is nothing but a computer and you can reprogram yourself, then you can start understanding, like, I'm not stuck with what I have or what I believe or what I think. Oh my gosh, I can rewrite the program.
Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this. Well, another fan too. I studied his program at this week-long conference. You can absolutely rewrite the program. If your thoughts are making you sick, like I said, when you have stressful thoughts all the time, you're suppressing your immune system, your cortisol come into your body. Your thoughts are making you sick. Okay. Your thoughts can also help you heal. Your thoughts can also. That's right. And understand that it's a very strong, it is a computer, and you can feed it with good stuff all the time. That's another thing that you can do, okay? We talk a lot about staying away from negative content. We don't talk enough about intentionally listening to positive content, okay? Real important. If you do something like that,
people like that tea.
Okay.
They like to hear people spill that tea.
Yes. In the morning, a great way to start your day. Okay, listen to something positive. Whoever your messenger
podcast,
is. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Something like this is perfect. You know, anything.
Just talking about positivity in life.
Just a reminder. Just to remind everybody. I mean, I'm a person that's been doing this for years. I need that reminder all the time because I'm inundated by all the stuff that I'm living in. Right. I want to be informed, so yes, I listen to the news sometimes. You know what I mean? And that's like right now. It's like the ultimate mindfulness challenge, right? Be informed and be chill at the same time. You know?
Would that be a good idea to make it a challenge for yourself?
Yes.
Like,
make it a game. Same thing.
Challenge.
Yep.
I'm going to do at least an hour throughout the week, a total of an hour.
Right. That's great. That's plan.
And then I'm learning as I'm going with you as well. Well, not you already know this. I'm learning.
I have to be reminded though all the time.
Well, but I like to think of different strategies as we're thinking of it, and I guess that sounds really. That sounds like it's on point with today and how we feel about. Let's say if I were to go on my phone and like everyone else, we love the internet, and then we see a post, we see something, we want to react, we want to we don't want to listen, but maybe we did listen, and then now we're like pissed and we want to react. That could actually be a signal.
Yes.
Like, hey, wait a minute.
Do I need to do this?
Now is the time I take.
And do I really want to engage like this? You know what I mean?
A few minutes to be self-aware of your body, of your mind, and how it's reacting, and rewire it.
That's right.
To do some mindfulness exercise.
To do something different, not react, because that's a reaction, right? Yeah. So mindfulness is like choosing to pause and respond or not to respond. Okay, choosing to pause and then making the choice of responding or not responding. You know, when you're not mindful, you're just reacting. Okay.
If you wait a day, you really will see
change.
Exactly.
That's right.
If you're going to respond.
That's right. Even a day. I mean, it doesn't even take a day. You know what I mean? It usually just takes a few minutes, right? You know?
I've tried that.
Years ago, I used to, get into, that kind of stuff, with, engaging in conversation. I don't like debates. I don't need to make you believe what I feel. I don't need to be right. Okay. I just like to have a conversation. All right. I don't want to go proving each other right or wrong. Another really important thing, two things I always talk to my clients about is what is your morning input? What's your AM routine? And what's your PM routine? Supremely important.
How you start, how you finish your day.
Oh my God, it's so important. How you start sets the tone of your day. Okay? Whatever you want to do. I mean, what I do is I think about stuff that I'm grateful for. I'll do a meditation. When I go walking, my dog for a walk, I pay attention. Occasionally, the phone comes out, but I really go like, nope, put it away. Pay attention. Be grateful. This is a beautiful neighborhood, beautiful sun. You're walking. Just all the beautiful things that we have in our life that we take for granted constantly, and be grateful for all that. I'm a big fan of recording a gratitude list or recording affirmations with my own voice, and then I play them back to myself. Okay, so I do that on a regular basis. I've been doing that for years. And when you hear your own voice telling you these, it's more powerful. I mean, I listen to affirmational stuff all night long as well on YouTube channels. I have my favorite ones, different topic matters, and I've been doing that for years. And that's reprogramming your brain too. Very important. Okay, but when you record and use your own voice, it's very powerful. And I also I have a recording where it's like a pep talk. We all have our struggles, certain ones that are more stubborn. And so, mine sometimes is feeling stressed about all the things I have to do. All right. And this is a challenge of mine for a while. So I have a little pep talk that says, it's okay. Everything always gets done, honey. No, blah, 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 blah.
You're a badass.
Whatever you want to say, whatever's going to help you.
Winner.
That's right.
It works, though.
Yes, it works. People out there, doesn't work. Of course it works. Think about living with somebody, okay? We've all lived, you know what I'm saying? We've all lived with people that are negative, and we've all lived with people that are positive, whether they be family or friends or roommates or whatever. We've all had these experiences. How do you feel when you live with a negative person? How do you feel positive? It's a huge difference.
So
it's
easy
the same
to answer,
thing with your mind. It's the exact same thing. And when I was going through a lot of this big shift in healing, I was by myself. I was in Spain by myself. I didn't know anybody. I was learning the language, and I didn't have it there. I didn't have anybody to go to or whatever. So I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And I was educating myself from all these experts. Like, we're going to do this. We're going to do it on our own. And you're going to reparent yourself. And you're going to learn to coach yourself and do all this. And that's why I did all these recordings and everything, It's like having a roommate, you know what I mean? That's really positive. You can do this. You go at it, Rex, you know what I mean? Or else it's like, Rex, you can't do it. You're such a loser. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know. It absolutely affects you. And it's your mind.
Our worst critics.
So you think, you may listen and be cynical, and these things aren't going to work. Well, if you don't ever try them, you're never going to know. Okay, I'm telling you, this is powerful stuff.
We have to self-coach.
Absolutely. This is powerful stuff. Just like you can transform your body and make it more fit and get the goals that you want with fitness, you can do exactly the same thing with your brain. You can do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different applications to do this. So in the morning, it sets your tone of your day. Absolutely. I'm telling you. Do this on a regular basis for a couple of weeks, you'll see a difference. And then when you don't do it, and that will happen, you'll see a difference. Okay? You'll be like, okay. And you don't have to wait for the whole day, the whole day's trash. No. You can go, okay, let's start over. Let's take a 10-minute break here, even 5 minutes, anything. Walk away, center yourself, look at things, breathe in deep, And also, when you're feeling tension, this is this thing we do a lot. When we feel like a tightness in our stomach or whatever, from a challenging feeling or anxiety, a lot of times, like I said before, we push it away. No, don't push it away. Sit with it. Lean into it. Okay? Okay. Talk to it like a person. I hear you. What do you tell me what you're freaking out about? Okay? And the little voice, the talk will be like, You're like, all right, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be okay. And you talk to it like that, okay? When you talk to it like that, instead of trying to push it away and force through, that energy leaves your body. And then you're not stressed and anxious in the rest of the day. You can actually feel a calmness in your body, okay? It's a big difference. It really makes a difference. At night, what are you doing to set the pace for a good night's sleep? Are you on your screen, scrolling?
Yep.
Good, okay? What kind of input? Even if it's good input, it's still on the screen, and that light goes in your brain, and your brain is like, it's not time to... Even when you dull, and I dull it, okay? Even when you dull the screen, it's still, your brain is, it's stimulating your brain, okay? You don't want your brain stimulated before you go to sleep, all right?
It's like working out right before you go to bed.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Okay, having a whole little routine, like starting to dim the lights. I put an LED light on in my bedroom. Every night. That's my brain going, okay, we're getting ready for sleep. Warm shower, whatever. Any kind of meditation. Starting to play some affirmational stuff, or a nice soothing talk about this kind of, about improvement or spiritual or whatever, gratitude, whatever, play. You're going to use different things,
Today was a great day. This
a great
is how
talk,
I succeeded.
someone that inspires you, anything, you know what I'm saying? Anything like that before the end of the day, okay? And you will sleep much better. Wayne Dyer, who's really famous for years, younger people don't know him still, but he died about maybe 4 years ago. Real famous guy. He used to say, self-improvement, he used to say, be careful what you put in your brain before you go to bed, because it's going to marinate in that all night. Okay, put it into your dreams. It's going to, it's going to cause problems.
That is
so your AM and your PM routine is really important. And again, you don't have to be like, oh, the whole day's trash because I didn't start it good. No, you can take a break and there's a lot of great breathwork techniques that you can use to center yourself again.
I had another podcast the other day. We talked about darkness. right? Darkness is a coach because it can be a hell of a coach, right? But that night, I had several nightmares about my past. It's so true, right? What we put in our minds.
Yes.
And then it kind of comes out and marinates in there, like what you were saying, and then it'll come out in some form or fashion. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about darkness anymore.
I know. See, this is the thing. I remember when I first, and this is important, though. It needs to be talked about,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yes, your mind and your body's going to respond like that, but a part of the human emotion is challenging emotions.
Healing
Yes.
through it, right? Maybe
You have to
making peace with whatever
Yes,
that is.
unless if you don't do that, then you have all kinds of anxiety and depression, sleep problems, and illness, and all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's the end result of these things. Okay, it's because how we're treating ourselves and permitting ourselves to feel these. I remember I had an Italian friend tell me one time, we're talking about meditation. She goes, I tried meditation one time, and all I did was just think about my ex-husband and get pissed off. Well,
You just trained yourself. You're still training yourself.
but I said, but that needs to come out. You're still holding on to that shit. That's toxic poison in your body. You know what I mean? It needs to come up.
Get it out.
So, you know what I'm saying? And getting it out is challenging. And so we're all into I got to feel good all the time. It's just not. It's not life. Okay, that's not. It's not this fantasy that we're supposed to feel happy and perfect all the time.
Yeah.
Challenges aren't a part of the journey. They are the journey. That is how you grow. That's how you're going to become more aware. And one thing I want to mention is the physical part. Referring to the plant medicine experiences, if you've ever had them. If you've ever had a plant medicine experience and you've got a screen by you, it's the last thing you want to look at. Okay? I've had experiences where I'm just like, it's repulsive. Any kind of screen. A monitor, a phone, anything at all. I don't want anything by me. Which for me, I thought was really interesting because it's like, that's my more natural state, my subconscious state. My brain does not like that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was really interesting when I saw that happen during one of my experiences. And what happens is when you're on these devices, you have this dopamine overload in your brain, okay? And that's what makes you want to go back. It's like the dopamine is like a motivating thing, okay? So it's like, oh, dopamine, oh, I'll go back, I'll go back, I'll go back. So you have a dopamine overload, and then your threshold for dopamine in your brain gets higher. This is what's
need more.
That's right. And you need things that stimulate you more. So what happens is just going to a park like this, okay, or going out in nature and not looking at your phone. Sometimes for people will be uncomfortable and boring because
they've overloaded themselves.
Right. The threshold for dopamine is like this. And what you need to do to bring your threshold down is intentionally choose less stimulating things, okay? Less often, okay? So when you just want a habit to go, oh, do I need to hold on to my phone right now? No. Do I need to look at it? No. I can put it away, okay? And start going around in the nature. Do I need to talk the whole time to my friend? Or can we just walk silently for a little bit, through the nature? Just less overstimulating things, especially with technology, okay? And you'll see this a lot with children, okay? And we're all having a hard time. This is not discriminating, between age or, from babies, toddlers, as soon as soon as they hold a tablet, it's in their hands now, right? It's like the new pacifier. That's right.
I hear from many parents.
Oh.
I'm like, hey, how's your kid doing? Oh, it's with the babysitter.
Okay.
What's that? I'm like, oh, the phone.
So this is how we're talking. This is a serious problem. I can't stress how serious this is, okay? We are just scratching the surface on this. Their brains are developing. That is messing with their brains more. You're going to see, okay?
We're going to see, maybe we won't see, but our kids.
We're already seeing it. There's a book called The Anxious Generation. It's written by a psychologist named Jonathan Haidt. I haven't read the book, but I've listened to his podcast, I've listened to his interviews, and I've done, a lot of research on it. And like I said, I got a chapter in my book about it. I'm like, yes. This guy I'm sure that book is amazing, okay? And it's about kids growing up with this. Their childhood is totally different than what I had. You know what I mean? Totally different. And not for the better, okay? And you can see a lot of times with kids that are interacting constantly with technology, they are not as apt in socialize. It reminded me of years ago when I would meet kids that were homeschooled that weren't socialized. Homeschooling is great if you socialize the kids too, and take them to 4-H or the choir or YMCA or Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whatever. You need to socialize them, okay? But if you just homeschool them and they don't get socialized, it's the same kind of behavior. These kids are totally into the devices. They're not used to just, regular conversation because they're constantly texting. They're used to ghosting instead of conflict resolution. All this kind of stuff is going to...
They don't learn those critical skill sets.
Critical skills for personal, professional, just functioning in society. You know what I mean? And because of that, they get more anxious. Okay? And then what do they do? They take medication. You know what I mean? And then you got...
So we got to lower that dopamine. We do that by being self-aware.
Yes.
And we're not telling you how to live your life at all, okay? By all means, I love my phone. I love the internet. And I love what it can provide me. And I love that it can provide this to people. But,
I mean, look, we're using the technology right here.
But it's all about being self-aware, understanding that you're doing this, and focusing on other things. You don't have to just focus on that. And we can provide ourselves with some balance. Go outside, spend some time with yourself, focusing on just nature, grounding, getting that energy out, and replenishing it back to some positive, right? The energy.
And there's a lot of other people who are trying to do this too, okay? I mean, Meetup is a really great, Facebook or Meetup, if you're not doing Facebook, even just going to meetup.com if you're like in a bigger city, you can find activities of people having these kind of events.
Right, that was another thing I wanted to talk about. It's like surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
So important.
That is
so important. There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're in Austin. This is like a hotbed for it, okay? I mean, but if you live in a bigger city, meetup.com is one of the best ways I have found to find like-minded people, find friends when I moved and traveled and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And like I said, in Austin, it's a hotbed. I'm
sure you have a community of people.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of different events happening all the time. I mean, just the other day, I was introduced to a friend who told me about this woman, Sarah, I can't remember her last name, to the B. She's in Austin, and she's a person that has events that are around community singing, okay? And you don't have to have a good voice or anything. You don't even have to sing. You can just show up, all right? And just hang out and hang out with people. And basically she teaches these very simple songs. Like she'll say a couple of sentences and then you'll repeat it, okay? And then she puts a couple of those together and then you're actually singing a song together, okay? And it's not religious, it's all just uplifting and joyful and basically talking about what we're dealing with and trying to rise above, any kind of anxious fear, whatever. I mean, it's just all very positive and a bunch of people like-minded that want to support each other in having a more positive mental mindset, okay? And she's actually going to do an event like on the Capitol. I think it's like next Wednesday, okay? I went to this Trinity Church, which is like non-denominational, just kind of show up. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful event, and it was just really nice to be uplifted. I mean, the vibrational energy, the frequency was higher, and then when you have a higher vibrational frequency in your own body and in collective energy, you feel better. You feel more joyous. You have more energy. You're like
right.
You're relieved.
We all have a collective focus that we want to be positive. We're going to start doing this positive act, and we're all going to become positive because we're doing it.
It's intentional. I mean, I see, when you really think about it, like I said, when you do these practices, you start to become more aware. When I was in Spain, in the whole quarantine thing, oh my God, it was the most dramatic thing I'd ever seen, vibrational energy. We were right before, we had no,
fear could be a
it
real
was
driver.
Incredible. I mean, we were getting ready for this big annual event called FIAS, okay? It's been going on for 40 years. It just ended. And celebratory, it's on and on. The Spanish love the party, okay? So it goes on and on and on. This big lead up, and everybody's all excited. They're creating all this stuff all around the city. And then Italy got hit with COVID, and they canceled their big event that they never canceled ever for 50 years. And all of us were like, we heard about it. We were like, uh-oh, I wonder if they're going to cancel FIAS, you know? And 2 days later, boom, canceled FIAS. And we went from the celebratory, really beautiful, joyful, high vibrational place to everybody get inside, we're on a lockdown. And this whole cloak of fear and depression just came over the city. It was like, it was the most, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. It was the most dramatic shift
hopefully
I'd ever
people
seen.
like you learned a valuable lesson during this time when we were surrounded by fear.
Yes.
That it doesn't have to drive us. It doesn't have to become something that determines what we're going to do, how we're going to like self-reflect, or how we're going to be positive or not. Right? A lot of people were negative, and that's their choice, but you don't have to be. You're always in charge. You're
That's
always
right.
driving the bus.
And watch it, having enough awareness, like when you have that fear, like I told you about when I was walking down the street and I judged that guy, you know what I mean? And if you're, acting, you feel like you want to react. Okay, am I in fear right now? Why am I fearful? Why do I want to react this way? You know what I mean? It's like, just try to like observe yourself, not judging, just observing yourself and learn more. And then you'll start to respond differently. And you'll learn. You're like, okay. And just be compassionate, like, okay, I'm fearful because of this. And you go down, like go deep into it. Like, oh, I'm afraid of what people will think of me. Well, what do you mean? If people think of me, what's going to happen? Well, if they get to know me more, they won't like me. Well, what's going to happen if they don't like you? Well, if they don't like me, then I'll be alone. Oh, then if people don't like you, you'll be alone. So your real fear is to be alone. You know what I mean? And you can take it down like that if
as
you're
a
not
coach,
just...
it's very important to just really ask these questions, help guide clients, people, friends, family, however, guide them to what is the root of this issue exactly. Because you're just covering it up with all these other things, right? And you're also drawing you're also drawing conclusions that aren't there. Like I have these conversations all the time with people, and it's just, I love being able to just shed light on things with people.
Same.
It's all about coaching. It's all about perspective. We're just changing the perspective. Like, hey, you think that you can't do this. Why do you think you can't do this?
That's right.
Oh, because of, and then when we start
Because
peeling,
my dad used to tell me, blah, blah, blah.
right, we start peeling down the layers. It's like,
right.
And then they come to the realization, like, oh, freaking no, I thought that.
Right.
And then they have that moment, that aha moment. We can reinforce that with some meaning, and then we start adding some change, some physical change, and all of a sudden, before you know it, there's real great change.
Absolutely. And this is the thing, a lot of people, you get sometimes on their high horse about addictions, right? Well, especially when it comes to substance addiction, like people are living their lives with, these people aren't like out to like live their lives. Hey, I'm going to get addicted to this and I'm going to become homeless.
Never
and,
starts
this
out
is
like
not
that.
their goal, all right? And everybody has an addiction, okay? Especially if I take away your internet, your TV, and your phone, you tell me if you don't have an addiction, okay? And any human behavior, you can become addictive around, right? And addiction is coping mechanism. An addiction, whatever it is a coping mechanism for unease somewhere in your body, okay? Whether it be unease emotionally, physically, maybe it's unhealed trauma, maybe it's just you're not getting enough nature, you're not balanced enough, whatever. It's a coping mechanism, it's a distraction to make you feel better. Because in that short little time, you got relief, right? Whatever it is, you got relief from whatever was feeling uneasy about you, okay? And then what happens is, short-term it helps, but long-term it starts to cause problems. And when you can look at that and go, okay, I got this short-term, the long-term has caused me problems, and you still don't change it, and then and everybody's got it. So to understand and be compassionate for other people,
Empathy.
That's right. Have more compassion. And more compassion, empathy, and forgiveness you have for yourself, then that's easy to do for other people. But it starts here. If you're judging yourself and you're unforgiving yourself and uncompassionate yourself, you're not going to be that with other people. And that's why when other people act that way to me, I remind myself that a person that acts that way to me is not happy internally. And they've got all kinds of stuff they're dealing with. And I'm not saying I don't put up with, I have good boundaries, and if I have behavior that comes at me that's not appropriate, I'm like, hey, I don't put up with it. I'm not a doormat.
Right.
But I
Right.
choose to understand that that person has got stuff they're not dealing with, and
Right. That's
that's
a
to
that's a
understand their
very
behavior,
self-aware
so I don't
skill
have to,
set.
because I want to feel better. I'm a feel good junkie too.
Yeah.
I don't want to suffer with that, holding on to that resentment. You know what I mean?
That's a good point too. Is like who you surround yourself with. It could be detrimental to you, or it could be instrumental to your life. Like if you're with somebody, like in a relationship, and they're always telling you you're nothing, you're shit, you're crap, you'll never amount to anything, you're not a real man. Pretty soon, you're going to start believing that.
Of course.
Then
It's
you'll
just
have
like the
those
interior
barriers
talk in your mind.
Right.
And then that's where you develop the interior talk in your mind.
Right.
Someone did that
Someone
to you.
said it, and you're repeating it, and now you're just But
Yeah.
if you replace that with somebody who's like, "I got you, I'll support you," you start talking negative about yourself, and that person's like, "Hey, don't do that. You're
That's right.
awesome. You're
That's
fucking
right.
awesome, dude."
That's
it's like,
right.
okay, you know what?
Thank
You're right.
you.
Then you start believing that
That's right.
because you're reprogramming your mind, and you probably are a badass. You just chose to see the other perspective, which was like the negative, or the other like bad decisions that you made, instead of like, hey, well, making good decisions. And so who you surround yourself with is
So important.
important.
And it doesn't even have to be a person that's berating you like that. Okay? I mean, it can be a person that's not validating your feelings and telling you you're oversensitive or you shouldn't feel that way, stuff like that. I mean, you get that enough, okay? If that's not what happened,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You get that enough, that is very detrimental to how you feel about yourself as well.
It takes, what this, going through this coaching journey of mine, I have realized that I'm not sure exactly of the impact I'm having on other people, like everyone, but I know the impact it's had on me. And my gosh, it is just so beneficial just for me to go through this coaching certification, this program, and learning about it. I'm able to have like such a different perspective on life and on relationships and with communicating with other people. I'm no longer like waiting to respond. I have true empathy for people. I'm like in that moment listening, right, to everything that you're saying, and not just hearing it, but like intelligently, like utilizing more resources to understand what it is you're saying, what it is you're not saying, and
Includes every area of your life.
People that can do that. And we're here, and this is like a one-way relationship where it's like you're giving all of it to your phone. And look, again, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Okay, you can live it however you want. You'll be here however long you want. You can do whatever you want. We're just trying to get people to a point where you can do both. You can be on your phone and you can do some healing.
There are options.
Yes. But you need to be self-aware of what you're doing and how much attention you're not paying to your body and your mind. Shift a little bit of that focus, because right where the focus goes, the energy flows. Everyone knows that. So if you can shift a little bit of that perspective and that focus to yourself, you got to take care of yourself. This is we only get one of these and one of these bodies. Like for now, we don't know in the future. Maybe they're going to clone everything. But a real brain, a real mind, we only have one, so we got to take care of it. And this is really good.
Let me tell you, a lot of people, when we talk like this, they will say, well, how? And then I just want to bring it back again, by training your brain. That's how.
Train your brain.
You are not going to become a self-aware just because I want to be self-aware. No, you have to
change happens.
Practice certain things. Train it just like you train your body.
Yes.
Okay. Until you start to do that, you won't be able to make the shift that we're talking about. What I'm saying?
Yeah, this is what I tell my
really
guy
important.
clients.
Okay. And there's a couple of things I want to just kind of shoot out a little bit that can help you. All right. If you have Netflix, you got a friend on Netflix. There's a friend on Netflix. Headspace has a really good series. I think it's like a 6-episode series. It's all animated. And it's an app that you have to pay for. I don't use it. I use Insight Timer. You don't have to pay for it. It's awesome. I've used it for years. If you want meditation, please contact me. I love to teach people that. But Headspace is great. They talk about the versatility and all the different ways you can use meditation. Okay, there's many different ways you can use it, this is what I teach too. They teach a little bit of the science around it. It's animated. It's a 20-minute episode. There's 6 episodes. It's fantastic.
That's a great tool and a great strategy. We don't have to put this down in a way. We can actually use this as a tool to help us.
That's right. There's a lot like the Insight Timer app. Okay, it's hilarious. It's like all the stuff that's happening that's causing problems for our brain and our body with technology. Now we have technology helping us.
Yes.
You know,
utilize the tools that are in front of us.
That's right. So just that kind of stuff. Learning how to do it a little bit at a time, and then you'll be able to become more aware. And then throughout the day is a good thing to do also. And if you need to put timers on your phone, okay, or little Post-its or something in your schedule, take a break, walk away from the monitor, walk around for 15 minutes, like schedule it in, okay? And then, check-ins, like, how am I feeling right now? Even if you did it once, twice a day, you do it more, great. How am I feeling right now? How's my body feeling? How am I breathing? What's my mindset? Just doing small, tiny check-ins like that. And you're going to forget. So that's why I say, if you do like a little timer and you schedule it on your actual schedule, on your,
I use my phone, my watch for that also. It tells me every once in a while, hey, how are you feeling right now?
There you go. See,
like,
so here's the technology can help us combat the effects of technology.
So I'm just like, oh yeah, this is how I'm feeling. And it's like, okay. Like, however you want to use it, that's fine. I don't care. But I'm using it for this.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like a knife. I can use it to murder someone. Or I can use it to make a damn good steak.
Exactly.
Right? Like
but those are the things. Those are, trying to give you little tips that we go about how I want to make that change. I want to feel less overwhelmed. These are the things that you can slowly start to add in your life. And you're not going to change everything overnight. And you're not, like I said, you're not going to do it perfect. Just slowly start doing these changes and you will see a difference.
This is exactly what I was saying about my when I try and help my guide clients. It's like change is like working out. You're not going to get swole in a week.
That's right.
It's going to happen over the course of like months.
And then you're going to look back 6 months, a year, and you're going to be like, oh.
You have to consistently
I'm
do it.
I'm doing better at that. That's right.
You can't stop. You can't give up.
Consistency is the most important.
You're going to change. Your body's going to change, and your mind is going to change, but you just have to stick to it. We all want to see, because we see results instantly, right? I want to look something up. What's the definition of this? Boom, I get it.
I know, that's what I'm
saying. But when it comes to this, it takes time.
I don't know if you ever listened to Matthew McConaughey.
Sometimes.
He's really a very evolved person. It's really interesting to listen to.
I like how he's not just an actor.
No, he's a very self-aware and involved person. His book Green Lights I highly recommend, and if you can listen to the Audible version, it's absolutely fantastic. You won't want to put it down. It's that good. Okay.
Wait a minute, don't you have a freaking?
Yes, my book. I can mention in a second, but let me finish
I'll put it in
the description. Okay, yeah. But Green Lights is great. Anyway, one of the things he says in an interview I heard one time, he said, someone asked me, like, who's my role model? Who's your role model, Matthew? And he's like, he had to think about it. And he said, me in 10 years. That's my role model. And then the guy was like, really? He's like, yes, me in 10 years. That's my role model. And so 10 years went by. And this guy came back to me. He's like, okay, it's 10 years. He's like, who's your role model now? Me in 10 years. And I thought that was really great. Because you do the work and you consistently try to be aware, become more conscious, and heal, that you look back at yourself 5-10 years ago, you're like, wow. And I hope I keep on doing that, just like him. You know what I mean? Just like him.
Even just the hope and the vision of yourself can help be a mentor.
Absolutely.
For yourself, right?
You know? So, on my book. So I wrote this book called Mindful Metamorphosis, A Compassionate Guide to Inner Transformation. And it's available in Spanish and English. And it's also available in Audible with me talking. And it's even on Spotify in my narration. In English, because my Spanish isn't good enough. I did not translate the book. My friend,
I would have loved to hear this.
My friend, I could speak some Spanish. I'm an intermediate level, but this actually, how this book came out is quite a story. I'll keep it brief. I was in Valencia. I was in during the lockdown, and I decided I was listening to the book How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan, and it's all about different psychedelic substances, okay, how you can heal with them. Very good book. You can also see it on Netflix too. He's got a series called How to Change Your Mind on Netflix. And in the book, he was talking about listening to classical music. Okay? And if you're in these kind of experiences, whatever you put into the experience will change the experience. Okay? Depending how we'll change it depends on you. All right. So in my case, I decided to have a journey, and I had some mushrooms, and I was in a very safe container. And I started to listen to some classical music. And remember, earlier I said, whatever I work on, it like amplifies it. Okay? So I had been working on forgiveness around my relationship with my mom and I on both sides over the last couple of years previous to this experience. My mom had been dead for 30 years. Okay? She died with a lot of unresolved stuff. We had a volatile relationship. We loved each other dearly, but this was the situation. And so I had a lot of unresolved stuff that I was trying to, heal from. And I'm listening to classical music. I'm under the influence of the mushrooms. I'm in this, studio apartment in lockdown. And all of a sudden, the song from the Nutcracker comes on. And I associated that with my mom, because this was a huge bond. She loved it every year, the ballet, the music, da-da-da, on TV, whatever. And immediately, my brain just lit up, Mom. Now, before this, I never had an experience with a spirit, ever. Okay. I believed in it. I know other people that had these experiences, but I believe now. It's just blocked. That's why. And all of a sudden, she was there. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything, but the presence was absolutely undeniable. And this is a common thing that can happen when you're in breath work sometimes, because it puts you in another dimension, or these kind of experiences.
Yeah.
And it's very common. And it's because you go into a different dimension and you're like a dreamy state. And it was amazing. It was super powerful. It was this beautiful love fest of forgiveness and everything. And during that experience, she basically gave me the message to write a book to try to help other people, that I was experiencing so much growth and I can help a lot of people.
And then you wrote it. And
that's actually
how. Proud of this book, right? This is a really great accomplishment.
It is a big deal.
I heard about those mushrooms.
Yeah.
I heard they were fun guys.
Recreationally, they can be fun. They're very strong substances. It's very important to be very respectful to.
That went right over
my head. Wouldn't say it again. What did I miss?
I heard they were fun guys.
Oh! It totally went over my head. Oh my God, it's hilarious. Yeah. Oh my God. Great documentary, by the way, on Netflix. Fantastic, fun guy.
Okay.
Really good documentary. Yeah.
Does it put this on your list, everyone?
It is. Yeah, fantastic.
I'm looking over there. Put it on your list. That's your camera. We both have been looking this way. There's no camera right there.
Okay. I'm like, oh.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we've been chatting for a minute. So how do you feel? Is there anything else you'd like to talk before we close up?
I guess the main thing, just to summarize what we've touched on already, is, don't be so serious around this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's a good feedback.
The more relaxed and playful you are, and when you get serious, it's okay, guy. Okay, just pull back a little bit, take a breath, don't get so serious. About any new practices, any new things, about life. We all get too, I know too. I gotta remind myself, let's chill out, don't get so serious. We think we make this one thing like this, and all we gotta do is let's just be present, and work on what we're grateful for, and just chip
more
away.
Positive experience.
You can enjoy life instead of it being so stressful. I know it's a challenge sometimes. A lot of good tools, like we said, get around people, get around events, get around communities that are, wanting to do the same thing. You're not alone, even though it feels that way sometimes.
Oh no, you're not alone. We've got people, and you may feel like you're not alone when you have this, but this is not going to be there.
Connect with people.
Okay.
Yeah, in person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The old school way,
Yeah, we're not telling you how to live your life.
Yeah.
That's not going away, but that doesn't mean that you don't cut the relationship with your true self.
Yes.
Right? Being self-aware, being positive, surround yourself with positive people. Start to use some of these tools to help ground yourself and get rid of that negativity, and replenish yourself with positivity, and just start looking at things from a different perspective. Okay, this isn't your life. This is your life, right?
And understand, I think the best gauge of progress is how you get back on track. Right. You're going to get off track.
And use it as a tool.
That's
this
right.
can be a tool of
get back on
entertainment
track. It's
and
okay.
a tool to help.
That's right. Absolutely.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
I will put all of your information in the description below, how to reach her, how to reach Michele. And Thanks for doing that. I appreciate you having me here. And wow, what do they say in the mindfulness community? Are they? Are you a yes?
Namaste.
Oh,
Namaste. Yes, I am.